Gagaya nung na-mention ko kanina, no? What's going to be different dito compared dun sa iba't ibang mga issues before, ito kasi real time. Mapapanood nila to sa free TV real time. So kahit may disinformation machinery ka na nag-aantay,
Mhm.
hindi nila pwedeng baguhin what you're seeing in real time. Di
Mm.
ba? Kaya ano yon, wala nang filter eh. Nothing in between. So pag lumabas doon na talagang nagnakaw ng pera, hindi pwedeng sasabihin ng vlogger nila na hindi nagnakaw. Kita nyo, hindi nagnakaw. Teka, niloloko mo kami, nakita ko, nagnakaw eh. Di ba? So yun yung difference dito. Kaya nga, I'm excited na pag lumabas dito yung pagka nagtuloy yung trial, ano na eh, magiging irrelevant yung ano nila, disinformation machinery nila, yung troll armies nila, kasi ito na mismo. Ngayon yung dito naman dun sa side ng ninyo, for example, mga social media influencers, you will break down the issues based on what actually happened. Iba yung nagsasalita ka na ang basehan mo yung katotohanan kaysa nag spin ka eh. Mahirap yun. Kita mo yung nangyari dun sa mga senador, yung madali, ginawa nilang komplikado because of some agenda, ang namimilipi tuloy sila. Samantalang nakita mo si Senator Coco at si Senator Risa, when they were
Yep.
explaining, ito yan eh, ganito, parang it was so easy paglabas at nakikita ng tao yon.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Senator Coco Pimentel was a surprise for me because, di ba, he was allied with the Dutertes at one point, and nakikita ko nga ngayon. Nagulat ako talaga, to be honest with you, that he spoke the way he did. He redeemed himself on the last day of the Senate. Hindi ko akalain na marinig ko yun at ma-admire ko yung ginawa ni Senator Coco Pimentel nung kanyang huling araw sa Senado. Anong take nyo kay Senator Coco Pimentel? I mean, nakatrabaho na niyo siya, di ba? Nakasabay niyo siya at one point.
Yes, Senator Coco Pimentel is one of my close friends diyan sa Senado.
Oh.
Ano yan, nakatungtong yan most of the time, sabihin na lang natin, sa moral high ground. Kaya you don't rule them out, ano, just because of one vote before. May mga redemption arcs lahat eh. Sabi ko nga, ina-advise ko yung mga ano natin, yung mga sumusubaybay, let's not emotionally invest too much on one vote because there
Mm.
would be a lot of votes down the road. Ang pinaka-importanting boto yung sa dulo. Kasi kahit na anong boto nila dito na nadidismaya ka, pero kung sa dulo magko-convict sila, for example, 'di ba? That's enough
Ah.
redemption for me. I'll take that last vote, 'di ba? O kaya ako, hindi ko sila inaano, parang kino-condemn na ano pa yan, kaya pang ma-redeem. And we need their votes, at least
Yes.
most of them.
Ay, okay, tama yun. And you know what, nakikita ko ang tema ng buong usapan natin ngayong gabi so far is the optimism in your in your tone at saka yung giving people the benefit of the doubt na hindi, wag natin husgahan sa isang punto lang, pero titignan natin yung katapusan o yung kabuuan ng
Mhm.
ginagawa nila. At yun ang nakikita ko, nagugustuhan ko sa mga narinig ko sa'yo. And it gives me hope as well kasi ako mismo, I'm a little bit cynical already. And I'm actually impressed na hindi ka cynical considering sa mga nakita mo kumpara sa mga nakita namin lahat. I would imagine you would be so cynical about the government in general. Pero mukhang ang ano mo nga ang hopeful mo, optimistic. How do you keep your optimism at naniniwala ka pa na meron pang pag-asa ang ating gobyerno?
Well, because of these things nangyayari sa ano natin, sa buhay natin dito sa hindi lang personally pero sa politika, may mga may mga sasabihin mo ng divine intervention eh, 'di ba? May mga ganun ang nangyari suddenly, oh, what happened there? Oh, sabi ko lang, ito example. Where am I coming from? Last year, suntok sa buwan yung impeachment, 'di ba?
Ah, yes.
So, when we filed it nung December, suntok sa buwan. Ano ba to, tatanggapin? Then eventually, na-transmit. 215 congressmen ang pumirma, tapos na-transmit sa Senado. Uy, that's a major victory. O sige, then ano gagawin na? Then we got word na
Um, okay, so naghang na naman si Senator Trillanes. Sunny, let me know kung nakabalik ka na ulit. Pero guys, so antayin lang natin muna si former Senator Trillanes na makabalik online. Naka-freeze lang siya muna. At habang inaantay natin makabalik siya, ano lang, bibigyan ko muna kayo ng ano ko, ng aking this is much better. So I think this is gonna work. So yeah, okay. So yung nag-uusap tayo kanina, no? I guess talagang impeachment na gusto kong tutukan natin ngayon dahil sobrang init ng usapan na to. At ang daming mga kababayan natin ang nalilito sa mga nangyayari ngayon at nababahala. Isang tanong ko sa'yo, pag natuloy na to at mukha naman tingin ko matutuloy to, I don't think it's going to be dismissed. I don't think the senators are going to vote for it. Pag natuloy ito, ano tingin mo ang pinakadaming evidence o ang isang ebidensya na talagang magsisira sa pangalan ng mga Duterte at maglalabas sa totoong kulay nila?
I think tatlo yung major na ano na damaging talaga. Ang una yung bank accounts issue. Medyo alam na nung karamihan yan, pero baka meron pang mas mabigat na lalabas in relation to that. Ito, tatlo yun kasi. Meron siyang personal bank accounts, meron yung joint bank accounts nila ni Duterte, tapos meron yung pumapasok yung nag-e-encash sila ng cheque, silang buong pamilya every 6 months coming from this known drug lord. Okay, yun yung mabigat. Tapos next is yung Mary Grace Piatos issue, yung sa confidential funds. Malulula yung mga tao kung paano winawaldas yung pera, paano binubulsa, no? So yan. Pangatlo, yung nakita nila yung public meltdown ni Sara, na yung sinabi niya papapatay niya yung presidente, first lady. Ito dito makikita nila yung psychological instability ni
Mhm.
Sara, na very telling yan kasi yung ganitong tao na yung pupugutan daw niya yung ulo ng presidente, yung mga gano'n na hindi lumalabas sa ordinaryong tao. Pag nakita nila yan ulit, may kita nila na bibigyan natin ng poder itong tao na ito. Nakita mo yung gagawin niya in case she would be president. Ano ang gagawin? What is this woman capable of doing? 'Di ba? Mabigat 'yon. Mapapaisip sila kasi alam mo yung video na 'yon, yung nakita natin, yung
Mhm.
nag-meltdown siya, yung minumura niya lahat. Marami nakapanood noon. Pero pag sa trial ilalabas yun, kung ngayon mga nasa 30% lang yung nakapanood noon, aabot yan sa mga 90 percent ng Pilipino malalaman at kikilabutan sila. So, those are the three na nakikita ko na damaging.
Mm.
You're saying hindi psychologically prepared ng Senate because they're used to have differential
Oo.
resource speakers.
Oo, yes. So, ganun nangyari. And dun sa experience nung sa Senate, nakita ng ano yon. May ano sila doon eh. May benefit
My
sila
learning
ng
experience.
oo. Ngayon, okay, ma-anticipate na nila if Duterte will do this, what can we do? What will we do? So may SOP sila. Pag nagwawala si Duterte, suspend natin. Suspend. Then aanuin siya. Pero for an egotistical person like Duterte to be placed in a corner, na in a box for that matter, kasi remember for so many years even sa Davao as mayor and as
His
president,
entire political life, essentially.
pag nag ano dun sa lectern, he can fire away, he will say whatever he wants, 'di ba? Wala nagre-restrain sa kanya. Naalala mo nung pandemic, in the middle of the night magpe-press con, ano lang
2
siya
a.m.
kung ano-anong kalokohan yung sasabihin. But walang kumbaga walang guardrails, walang restraints. Ngayon, uupo siya ron, tapos le-lecturean siya ng mga kagaya nila Congressman Abante, you don't do this, you don't ganito. Ang bigat sa kanya noon, di ba? Tapos eventually, nung nagkatabi kami, and I was telling the whole world about yung kanyang sindikato, yung involvement niya sa illegal drugs, that was, parang pumuputok siya doon, parang sumasabog siya. Kaya nung huli, nag-ano na lang siya. He creates a scene every time para lang ma-disrupt yung flow ng hearing.
Medyo bratty din, medyo ADHD na brat. I want to go to the content of your allegations against former President Rodrigo Duterte shortly. But before that, at the human level, I want to ask about you. But before that, can I also ask about Senator De Lima? Because dun sa Senate hearing, I don't think she was given enough latitude to really lay out her case. In fact, Jinggoy put her on the defensive, and I think very unfairly. Parang, wait, siya, victim blaming pang ginawa, di ba? Parang, ba't wala kang ginawa ng DOJ secretary ka? Like, I think she was not prepared for that. Like, what the heck? Ako yung biktima dito. But at least dito, nagkaroon siya ng panahon. But nevertheless, magkatabi sila ni Digong, tapos bastos pa si Digong, di ba? Nag-gesture pa siya na upakan ko pa to. Like, bastos tinabi sila. What was your reading of Senator De Lima? I mean, I will interview her separately, but from what you're reading, first of all, it's very bastos for a man to do that to another woman, no matter how deep is the disagreement. But ikaw, as a gentleman, Senator Trillians, what was your read of the Senator De Lima's presentation, and also how she carried herself, being right next to Digong, including when nag-aamunan na kayong dalawa, di ba?
Well, very gracious siya dun sa all throughout the proceedings. She held her cool. At nagkaroon din siya ng platform. She was able to tell her story, and beside dun sa kanyang tormentor. Kaya kahit ganun-ganun si Duterte, ano yun? Parang in your face yun. Tapos yung gesture niya na susuntukin niya I'm sure yung mga Pilipino na nakapanood noon talagang kahit
Bastos
anong
pala yung ginawa
angulo,
niya.
talo siya doon. So, ano yun, kumaga hats off kay Senator Laila for being gentle and the adult doon sa buong pangyayari.
100%. And also putting forward the case very substantively. Medyo tampo ako sa iyo ng konti, Sunny, no? Because
Right.
parang alam ko sa kabilang channel, medyo sinabi mo yung personal drama mo na hindi mo sinabi sa akin, di ba? Kasi last time tayo nagsama, nililigtas kita. Sunny, wag natin pag-usapan yan. Inaway na tayo, di ba? Na-cancel tayo nung 2 months ago. Pero ngayon mukhang okay na naman tayo, Senator Trillanes, no? Pero
Yeah.
ang narinig ko sa kabilang channel, you said something about your traumas during Duterte's time. Never mo sinabi sa akin na nagtampo ako. Don't you feel confident enough? No. Did you say something about the traumas of... Yeah, I mean, I saw a column. Hindi ko alam sino nagsabi na gusto kong papatayin ni Digong noon, na nagwala daw siya once in cabinet. Sabi na, patayin ko na to. And then someone said, uy, wag niyong galawin yan. PMA yan, military yan, something like that. Can you tell us, to the degree that you can share in public, how traumatic it was for you? Kasi Senator De Lima, alam natin yung trauma niya. She shared it. Pero ikaw, macho ka. You never shared that.
I wasn't really referring to a personal trauma, but it was the collective trauma of the Filipino people.
Right.
Diba? We saw how people from all walks of life, from various sectors, different classes of society, na talagang fearful, genuinely fearful, talagang disgusted sa nangyari, but they had to keep it in. So yun yung sinasabi ko, na you don't want to go through that collective trauma again. Kasi yung personal threats sa akin, yun, gusto kong kasuhan ng murder. Actually, may nag-file ng murder. Hindi lang pinalusot talaga kasi napaka-absurd na. Finailan ako ng kidnapping case. Actually, 22 cases lahat yan ng
Yun
finail
nga
sa akin. So then, nag-attempt, there were actually 2 attempts at my life, apparently, Nag-plot sila. But sabi ko nga, I'm a fatalist. Siguro may mission pa tayo kailangan gawin. Biruin mo, of all the people na magta-turn, yun pang inutusan to actually kill me. Yun pa yung nag-turn. And kumaga, yun, we got a lot of divine help during those dark moments. Kaya ano tayo, we're still around. And ngayon, uh, na ano na natin, we're on the other side
Side
of
of the
the
yeah. Okay, so let me apologize. Wala ka pala masyadong sinabi sa kabilang channel. Hindi naman tayo competitive. I was just making sure kasi sa Reddit, people are comparing your interview with me and interview sa kabilang channel. May sinabi daw, sabi ko, parang di niya sinabi sa akin na nagtampo ako. No, but
no,
of course later we'll talk about Marco Rubio, Senator Marco Rubio also very
yes,
shortly because he was very important also. But at the personal level, kasi ngayon tinatapos ko yung memoir ni Alexei Navalny. Right? Tapang na
yeah.
tao, grabe din. Putin ang
Oh,
kalaban. That's
oh,
no joke.
oh,
KGB, di ba?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, the person I can think of closest to Navalny's experience is you and Senator De Lima, to be honest. No, with all due respect to everyone else, you two guys, you really face, and in your case, mas natatakot pa ako sa'yo kasi sa labas ka pa, di ba? Baka i-shortcut ka nila. But to the degree that you can share in public, Sonny, maybe in private we can
Siguro,
share more. Like, how did
okay.
you cope with the stress, with the trauma? Like, fatalistic na lang, bahala na. I just have to do what I have to do.
Yes, parang ganun ako since nung Oko, then yung nakakulong, then sa Manila Pen. Ganon. If this is the path that is laid in front of me, then I'll pass through it. Ngayon, siguro one of the stories I told sa ano is yung nung time na nagkakaroon na kami ng encounter ni Duterte, no? Tinitindigan ko na siya. Nung time na yon, grabe yung mga riding in tandem, ano? Ang sasakyan ko was a Fortuner na hindi bulletproof.
Bulletproof.
Oh, hindi bulletproof. So ngayon, itong si Senator Grace Poe was so fearful dun sa ano ko, situation ko na
Pinairam ka.
pinahiram niya yung bulletproof niya. And ano yun? That ruled out any riding in tandem scenario. Kaya ano yun, sabi ko nga, we got a lot of divine help. May mga ginamit, naging instrumento sa pag ano sa atin, uh, pagharap dito sa mga difficulties. So things like that, no? Tapos syempre I needed to be unpredictable in my schedule. Kumaga ginagawa naman natin yung ating mga security protocols. Naglagay ako ng metal plates dun sa aking office sa Senate kasi ano yun pwede kang i-RPG from the outside, no? So at least malilimit mo yung mga ways that they can harm you physically. Ganon.
And to be fair, well, you mentioned Senator Graceful, also Senator Tito Soto, right? Stood by you
Yeah,
when
yun.
you had to
Yes,
hunker
yes.
down, di ba? Yeah.
Oh, yun si Senator Soto, no? Kasi nung kinancel yung aking amnesty, nasa published yun eh. Since hindi naman ako lawyer, I was working on the assumption na wala na akong magagawa doon. So sabi ko, after ng hearing ko sa Senate, so hinihir namin yung four-piece law, no? Na yung kay bill ni Senator Laila. So sabi ko, after nito, sasama na ako. Sinabi sa akin ni Senator Risa, who was seated beside me, sabi niya, andiyan na yung CIDG, no? Papasok na. O sige, andiyan na. Then after a while, sinabi niya, hinarang ni Senator Soto yung CIDG. Tapos pinapaakyat kami para ano daw, para mag-usap. So after the hearing, I went to Senator Drilon first. So doon ako sinabihan ni Sen Frank. Sabi niya, Sunny, hindi ka pwedeng sasama dyan sa kanila na walang warrant. Kasi the moment you do that, you won't be able to question the validity of the warrantless arrest anymore. Nakakulong ka na abang kung anong appeal ang gagawin mo. Tapos pumunta kami kay Senator Soto, sinabi ni unilaterally hindi niya pinapasok. So, 'di ba, everybody got the impression na lahat sila mga kaalyado ni Duterte, But still may mga uh, tao, may mga people working in the institutions who love the institution more than itong loyalty nila kay no, nagbigay nila ng value yung nila sa democratic institution. So,
And fear.
he
Let's
defended
be
it.
honest. I think people were after what happened to Senator De Lima. I won't be surprised
Yeah.
that a lot of other senators had to double check their notes. No.
Mm. So, it was a defiance in a way, unilaterally by Senator Soto as the Senate President initially, then eventually he consulted with everyone and nag-unite, unanimous. Kumaga, publicly, they saw me as a lone ranger na parang kaaway ko lahat. But actually, doon sa Senado, nung lalo na mga moments na yon, nakita mo na talagang uh,
Close
they
ranks na kayo eh. Oh.
they defended the institution. Marami no sinasabi nila uh, Senator Loren, na sila Senator Binay na this is our house. They are doing this inside our house. So natin, palabasin natin. O sina Senator Migs naman, sina Senator Angara, sabi nila, the moment bayaan nating
Yeah, precedents.
magkaroon ng warrantless arrest dito kay Sunny, then he can do that to the rest. So, kumaga, let's make a stand now. Kumaga, ganun yun. And everybody closed ranks. At yun, dun ng dun ng that gives you confidence about the strength of our democracy when it was under siege, no? And it came, these things came from people who you least expect to stand up against somebody like Duterte. Ganon.
Ang tawag ko dyan, stealth resistance or steady state, diba? Yun ang term nila sa Trump administration. Quiet lang, behind the scenes, informally, there are
May
people who
push
are
back.
holding the line. Exactly. So,
So
it's very
nagpo-push
important.
back.
So, kumaga, ikaw yung nasa front, you make the noise, you send the signals, but
Mm.
actually other people are also doing it. Kaya nga mahalaga talaga eh. Kasi, I remember very well, may mga nagsabi, bakit kasi si Trillanes, bakit kasi si Senator De Lima, dapat nag-calibrate sila kasi alam naman nila ganito sa. And then may nagsabi, actually, estudyante pa yata, if I'm not missing, estudyante pa ni Leloy Claudio, isang kaibigan natin, sabi niya, but sir, kung everyone will be quiet and calibrated, then, di ba, immediately the standard comes down. So someone has to really go on the front and take the risk, unfortunately. And you were the one of the ones at least.
Mm. So, importante yung pushback na ginawa. And ito pa, no, isang moment na kailangan natin i-highlight is, sige, may institutional pushback na from the Senate. Ngayon, yung AFP rin, the Chief of Staff then, General Galvez, he was given a directive to arrest me. Pero hindi niya ginawa. Hindi niya ginawa kasi may pushback from the mid-ranking officers na alam nilang mali yun, di ba? Mali yun. So, siyempre, it's the PMA thing. Na-underestimate ni Duterte yun na akala niya, the soldiers, the officers will just do as he
Feeling,
pleases.
yeah. Oo.
So
Akala
ngayon,
niya police ang military no offense.
so ganon, hindi ginawa. Ganon din, pati when kinonsult si DILG Secretary Anyo, tsaka si Secretary of Defense
Lorenzana.
Lorenzana,
Exactly.
sinabi nila, wag. So collectively, silang tatlo nag-push back. Okay, ngayon, everything boiled down dun sa judge, no? Si Judge Soriano. Si Judge Soriano was
Makati, di ba?
harassed. Makati.
Yeah.
So ngayon, pinangakuan siya, binigyan siya ng kung ano-anong offer. Pero talagang hindi niya masikmura eh. So biruin mo, yung pushback came from an RTC judge against the weight of the Duterte presidency. So doon yun. So doon mo makikita yung mga ganong moments na tipong Duterte was pushing the limits of his power, undermining the democracy. Pero kahit na developing country tayo, infant or baby democracy, but
Fledgling.
fledgling.
It's an advantage of less.
pero meron pa rin the institutions were strong enough, at least at some institutions were strong enough to push back. Yun.
No, but kudos to you, Senator. You and Senator De Lima talaga, you set the standard. I think it was very important. For me, yung moment na yan, yung na-hunker down ka sa Senate and others didn't want to cooperate, including from AFP, ano, at saka yung time na gusto ni Digong mag-nationwide martial law after Mama Sapano, and then Lorenzana and Anyo went to Lenny, di ba? I remember, I think those were the two moments. Kung hindi nangyari yan, wala na, Putin na tayo. Totally
Oo.
wala na yung democracy natin. So I hope people appreciate those things. I mean, of course, in media, we did our job, etc. And, people in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
media are
yeah.
getting all the accolades they deserve. But I always tell our friends, they're not the only one. In fact, there are even more important people, including the military, people like you, among others, who made that sacrifice. Now, balikan natin ito with Tatay Digong. Essentially, you replayed yung sa ABS-CBN. Yung ba yun? Yun yung nagpatanggal ng franchise ng ABS-CBN. Yung pinilay mo na bank account, hindi ba yun yung lumabas ng election time? Hindi ba yan
No,
yun? Ano yun? Ano different?
hindi. Pinalabas ko yun sa GMA 7.
GMA pala, sorry. Yeah.
Oo. May pinalabas din ako sa ABS-CBN yung may mga bata. Pero pinalabas ko rin yun sa GMA 7. Kaya sabi ko, don't
Bakit ABS
ever,
lang?
oo, ano lang yun, pretext lang ni Duterte yun na kasi naglabas ng ganitong ad o hindi nilabas yung ad. Pretext lang niya yun. He was determined to take over ABS-CBN for himself. Kasi gusto nilang gagamiting vehicle yun for 2022. Yun naman yun eh. Kaso, nung kinukuha nila from the Lopezes, ayaw ng Lopez ibigay. O kung ayaw mo ibigay sa amin, isasara namin. So, ganun ang nangyari yon. All the rest, pretext lang yun. Drama yun. Mga hindi nagbayad ng tax, nagkuhan ako ng ad. Pwede ba yun? Ganun ba ka-shallow? Ano yung franchise?
Reimburse daw siya, di ba? Sabi na, nagbayad daw siya. Di naman
Oo nga,
lumabas.
kaya nga, di ba lumabas no, during the hearings? Actually, lahat baloney. But it's just Duterte being Duterte. Gagawa siya ng mga pretext, but in the end, gusto lang niyang, ano yon, as part of undermining democracy, kukuhanin niya yung mga medium of or mga organs of information dissemination. Yun yung ano niya. Ayan.
Congressman Barber's opening sa Quadcom hearing from last week, essentially his argument was, yeah, Digong may have had good intentions. Lahat naman tayo gusto natin ng, kampanya laban sa pinagbabawal na droga, pero may mas epektibong paraan. Tapos pinakita niya itong datos kay BBM, ganyan-ganyan. Pero ikaw, ang attack mo kay Digong is more fundamental, no? You're even questioning his intentions. You're not saying na bara-bara lang yung method. Hindi lang kapalpakan, hindi lang maraming namatay unintentionally. I hear this a lot. Ay, kawawa naman si tatay, good intentions, yun lang. Sorry na lang, or kawawa, collateral. Ang thesis mo, Sonny, is something different, right? Your thesis is that this is not even really a war on drugs at all.
Yes.
Something else was going on. What is your fundamental thesis para lang maalala ng tao? And then relate mo dito sa bank account issue na yan.
Okay. Kasi ganito yan. Because of the insider in Arturo Las Cañas, we were able to get this, yung true intentions of Duterte. Kasi yun na nga, no? They were protecting Duterte's drug lord partners, Michael Yang, Sami Uy, Charlie Tan. Tapos they were killing the competition. Ganun yun. Tapos nung in-elevate nila yung same modus nila. Tapos just to just so the public would be impressed dun sa and be convinced dun sa sincerity nila, they will actually kill mga chemists, mga shabu laboratories na i-raid nila lahat-lahat, pero competition yon. So sinat daw nila yung all the local manufacturing ng shabu. Then after that, na-clear na yung way for the importation ng tone-tonelada. Yun, alam mo yung mga pumasok na droga sa nung panahon ni Duterte via the front
Magnetic
door.
field, yeah.
Oh, via the front door ito sa customs. Record dito, prior to the Duterte administration, walang ganyan na importation. Kalaki. Tapos ito yan, kumbaga common sense. Kung ikaw, mag-drug lord ka, magpapasok ka ng droga sa isang bansa na supposed to be galit na galit yung presidente sa illegal drugs, You would dare pass through the front door and risk yung merchandise mo? Hindi, di ba? Gagawin mo lang yon kung kapartner mo yung mga yung presidente at sigurado ka makakalusot. At nakalusot ang mga droga, tone-tonelada. Yung mga rare moments na nakakapture, ito yung dahil merong proceeding PIDEA o PNP na hindi part ng syndicate na natitisod nila, no? And yung sa Valenzuela, yung 6.4 billion, ang nag-report pa sa ano natin sa customs after the fact nung nakalusot na was yung rival na triad nung grupo nila Michael Yang. Kumbaga, ganun yun eh. At so ganun yung
So wait, so
nangyari.
your argument this was a corporate merger strategy.
Yes. Ano to, minonopolize yung drug trade.
But did you
Similar,
have to run for president to push for corporate merger? That's your because okay, again, Sonny, I'm not questioning
yeah.
necessarily your thesis. What I'm saying is that hindi ba may messianic complex din talaga si Digong na feel niya parang he's the man to say you're saying all of that is just pure act? That was really
Hindi.
just cover for a corporate takeover merger?
Yes, kasi nung sa Davao, ganun ginagawa nila. Pero kasi, wala naman siyang planong tumakbong presidente. Wala naman eh. Nung early on talagang. Kaso, circumstances pushed him into that situation. Kaya nga, in a way, reluctant din siya na tipong, teka muna, drug lord protector ako. Baka mabibisto ako dyan. So, kaso, the act was so believable, maraming maraming nagtulak sa kanya to be the savior of the country. Then ngayon, nakakita sila ng opportunity, tinuloy niya yung act niya at the national level. So ngayon, itong mga partners nila, aba, ano to eh, para
Fiesta na.
parang fiesta ito. Why will they suddenly say, hindi, ayaw namin, gusto lang namin, local ano lang tayo. Hindi. They took advantage of it. Tapos nag-branch out pa, nag-diversify pa si sila Michael Yang into Farmally, Pogo, lahat-lahat, no? Kaya
Conglomerate strategy.
conglomerates na, di parang yan yon. And it's very, very obvious pag na-decode mo nga siya, kasi kami nakita na namin yung armed with the inside information, nakita ko na every move that he's making is precisely aligned with yung ano na yon, yung
Modus
thesis.
operandi.
Oh, so
Mm.
kaya na at every turn, biruin mo galit na galit siya sa illegal drugs. Nalusutan si File doon sa customs. Ordinarily, kung hindi sa iyo yung droga na yon, anong gagawin mo? 'Di ba? You would have fired and imprisoned si Paildon.
Oo.
Pero anong ginawa niya? Masyado mainit, kinasuhan kunyari. Tapos dinismiss kaagad. Anong ginawa dun sa prosecutor na nag-dismiss? Ginawang judge. Okay. Tapos anong ginawa kay Paildon? Ginawang nilipat siya sa OCD muna and eventually sa Bilibid. Nire-recycle mo. Dalawa lang yun eh. Yung kay Fildon is either you are in on it or you're so incompetent na nalulusutan ka. Either way, you deserve to be fired. So, yun. Nangyari pa ulit kay La Peñas. Nalusutan ng magnetic lifters. Nalusutan. Anong ginawa niya? Prinomote, ginawang TESDA. Tapos ito yung magnetic lifters. Ito napaka-obvious to. Sabi ng PDEA, positive na nalagyan. Anong sabi nung presidente na galit sa illegal drugs? Sabi niya, hindi, speculation niya lang yan. Ina-arbor niya because that was Michael Yang's shabu. So,
Just to be clear, this is the Michael Young who was a card na presidential economic advisor na
yes.
Chinese citizen. Is that even legal for a Chinese foreign citizen to be an economic presidential advisor? I mean, it's
Di
ridiculous.
ba? Oo. So, ano yun? Talagang treasonous na yun at so many levels, talagang nilolooban ka na. Ang dami niyang ginawa. Here comes the report ni Colonel Acerto. Colonel Acerto was not in on the syndicate. So, ang ginawa niya, may informant nagsabi sa kanya na itong si Michael Yang, drug lord. baka hindi alam ni Presidente. Very naive din siya eh. So, nag-initiative siya. Pinasa niya yung report. Pinasa niya kay Pidea
Oo
Aquino,
naman.
pinasa niya kay Bato de la Rosa, binasa niya kay Bongo, hoping na parang ano, ma-forewarn si Duterte na layuan itong drug lord na to. Anong ginawa? Kinasuhan siya, pinakasuhan siya kung ano-ano, at on national TV, gusto siyang papatay. Is that a demeanor of somebody who's serious about reading
Fighting
this country
drugs,
of
yeah.
illegal drugs? Hindi. 'Di ba? Inarbor niya eh. Maliwanag inarbor niya. Si Michael Yang. Ilang beses niya inaarbor 'yon.
So,
Kaya napaka ano na lang eh. Kumbaga, you would have to be dense or totally fanatical kay Duterte not to put everything together.
although I've heard some fanatics saying, but well, I mean, if he rationalizes the process para maayos yung supply and all, baka I mean, I've heard even apologies telling me that. No, okay
Hindi,
lang at
pero
least
ito yan.
streamline
Ito,
daw yung
Richard.
distribution.
Okay, ang bottom line naman nila kasi is profit, di ba? So what happened during the time of Duterte? So na crash nila yung local manufacturing. So sila na yung distribution unit sila, no? Ano na ngayon nangyari? Tumaas yung presyo. Kasi yung supply limited, pero the demand is still there. So yung presyo na command nila tumaas. Nahahakot nila yung profits doon. At alam mo nangyari, di ba, nung nawala na si Duterte, pumasok na yung Marcos administration, early during the Marcos administration, remember the 990 kilos shabu na nahuli na involved yung mga police, generals, colonels, and yun na ngayon ang ginawa ni Duterte. Naging distributor na yung pulis. Kasi pinagpapatay nila yung mga local distributors, ngayon sila na nag-distributor. So, ganyan yung nangyari. Yung mga mayor na pinatay, pang sample na at the same time, sila na ngayon. May vacuum na doon. They can now distribute their goods ng mga players nila. Kumaga ano to? Similar ito, Richard, dun sa if you follow that Mexican defense minister na
Yeah, I wanted to go to
yeah,
Narcos actually. Yeah.
oo, true story yon. Ito rabid ano siya, anti illegal drug crusader siya. Galit na galit, talagang pinagpapatay niya. Pinagpapatay niya talaga yung mga kartel, iba-iba. Yung pala, meron siyang kartel na ini-spare. So he
Yung
was on the pay.
Tijuana, yata yun yung
Oh.
Tijuana area. Yeah. I remember that
So
very well, yeah.
this is exactly the same story.
So I
Ganon
was
si
about to say actually Digong kind of changed kasi when you say narco state, it's like yung buong bayan ay nadamay sa away ng mga kartel. Ito, narco state in a sense na yung estado mismo ay
Yung
allegedly involved in like estado na nagnanarcos, di ba?
yan.
Like next level yan.
Siya mismo. Si
Yeah.
Duterte mismo. Kaya kumbaga, every time this guy talks to the public, ako nakikita ko yung mga sinabi sa akin nila Las Cañas, nila Matobato, tapos yung mga report nila Acerto, and everything in between, yung mga ginagawa niyang pag-arbor, pag-protect sa mga kasindikato niya, pagpalusot ng droga. Basang-basa ko siya. Kaya that's where I'm coming from. And I was so glad to have that opportunity to tell that dun sa Quadcom.
Papunta na tayo sa Quadcom, no? Sorry, I really had to extend this part kasi alam mo naman sa atin, di ba, Sonny, it's easy for people to forget, the gravity of the situation. Nadadala sila sa drama of the Quadcom. I just wanted people to realize what's at stake here, no? Anong pinag-usapan? What's the fundamental thesis here? Sonny, do you think that enough has been spilled or exposed already? Kasi ang concern ng ibang tao is baka naman yung iba habol lang nila dito, libreng airtime hanggang election na to. Baka nakakaumay na to mga hearings na yan. Do you think we're passing the threshold na kung saan siguro DOJ and ICC have to come in na? Parang ilan pa bang hearings ang kailangan natin?
Palagay ko naman to mutually independent yun The DOJ can start building up the cases, and I think they are building up the cases. The ICC is also doing its thing. Tapos
So
ito,
complementary, you're saying.
oo, yes. So ngayon, itong lumalabas na ito ngayon, ito yung mga story ang nasuppress eh. Kailangan mabalikan ito kasi at least nalalaman ng mga kababayan natin na who used to be supporters of Duterte na ganito pala yung ginawa ni Duterte para part yon ng ano natin. Hindi lang healing process kundi part ng educational process. Baka makabola pa ulit itong mga ito
Ay,
later on eh.
mamulat dapat tayo. O
Oo.
makabola, pwede sila makabola. I mean, we'll talk about Trump shortly, no? He made a big comeback. We saw that in Thaksin in Thailand. We saw that in Berlusconi in Italy. Kaya ng mga populist na bumalik if you don't, do your job, right? Kasi the
Yeah.
worst thing is you go after them and then makasurvive sila, mukha pa silang kawawang biktima, then they come back even stronger, di ba? I mean, that's a real risk, no? If this is not seen through.
But well, it's still better than doing nothing. 'Di ba? Kung giving them a free pass would is
Oh,
a
absolutely,
sure
absolutely.
o kumbaga ay sure formula ng ano nila ng comeback nila. Kailangan pahirapan. Kumbaga sa marathon kailangan unang-una, well, kailangan panagutin. Yun na lang. Kasi baka may ma-misinterpret pa yung mga analogy natin eh.
Yeah, yun nga. I know
Ah.
you were.
So,
You don't have to say anything. Basta ang point ko lang, Senator Terence, you're not supposed to answer everything
ah,
I say. Let me say some of the other things. Na ang point ko
yeah,
lang kasi dito is,
ah,
marami kasi tayong mga presidents kung saan ang daming hearings nangyari tapos wala rin napuntahan. I mean, we can talk about Farmali for instance. Ang daming ganun. So minsan nagiging cynical or skeptical ang tao na ayan na naman, hearing na naman, mga expose, and then sa dulo wala rin mangyari, etc. At least yung kay Alice Go, we saw naman things are moving the right direction. Na-cancel yung fake niyang passport, na-expose na potentially ano pa siya, asset pa siya. So at least there something is happening. What I'm saying is, di ba, sabi ni Ralph Waldo Emerson, when you strike at the king, essentially you have to make sure you go all the way. Otherwise, kung mag-survive yan, babalikan ka talaga nila yan. And if you're BBM, and you're looking at what happened to Pinoy, what's happening to Digong, what happened to Erap, what
mhm,
happened to Gloria, the worst thing that could happen to BBM is half finished job ito, and then
mhm,
after 2020 babalikan talaga siya, di ba? I'm just saying how things could turn out if this is
yeah,
not done properly, meaning hanggang
yeah,
hapyaw lang na hearing at saka pakit lang yung iba dyan. I'm not saying yun ang nangyari. I'm just saying yun yung risk kung
mhm.
ito yung direction of the wind. Yun lang sinasabi ko, Senator. But you're optimistic na things are moving in the right direction, complementary naman. And we're talking about evidence, hindi ito demolition job. Kasi I keep on hearing, demolition job lang yan, political lang yan.
Well, doon sa first part, ang sagot ko ron, well, nakikita ko naman na nagbi-build up ng mga cases. Hindi ito ano lang. Yun nga, no? Yung, kumbaga, mutually exclusive sila eh. Parang, ano. Ngayon, ito naman, doon sa part na sinasabi mo na, ano ito, parang demolition job. Actually, yung mga ganyang bagay, it depends on the people eh. Yung mga tao, pag nakita nila na ano yan, parang scripted yan o bogus yung mga nilalabas, alam nila yan eh. They will turn away eh. And remember, ang pinakang batayan ng mga ganyang hearings is the public pulse. Nakikita ng mga Quadcom chairman na more than 1 million yung nanonood nung kanilang hearings eh. Ibig
But
sabihin, the
that's my
people are
worry.
voting.
Baka ma-addict sila dyan. Gusto nila hearing ng hearing. Kasi
Hindi, pero
walang airtime yan eh.
yes, that's the politician's instinct. But still, part nun, kahit gusto mo pa ng more airtime, pero kung wala ka ng sustansyang nilalabas, wala ka ng worthwhile na panuurin, edi wala na. Mawawala, magda-die down naturally yon. So yun naman ang sinasabi ko. Lalo na kung gumawa ka na ng mga bogus witnesses dyan or mga ebidensya, magte-turn away yung mga Pilipino, mararamdaman nila na, teka, napapakapuya tayo rito pero 1,000 lang yung nanonood, parang ganon. Mm.
Cliffhanger. Baka puro na ginawang mga K-drama
Keep
na
lang.
pa cliffhanger na, para may 4 seasons pa. pamunta na tayo sa dulo ng discussion natin. Is there anything else that you want to see come out of the Quadcom? Ano yung mga issues na dapat bantayan? Anong issues na dapat i-expose? When I say bantayan is because I think you have seen, no, yung DDS attack line na pinaprep daw yung mga witnesses. Ngayon, tinitignan nila lifestyle check na lahat ng mga congressman. Si Abante, di ba, nagdrama siya na tinitroll na siya ng mga Duterte side and all. Parang sabi ko, welcome to the club. What do you think was happening to all of us? So, now you can see there's a pushback also, di ba? Pinipersonal attack na yung mga congressman na yan eh.
Ano yon? Kagaya nga ng sinasabi mo kanina, Richard. Pagka kinanti mo yung king, dapat dire-diretso. So, ito na ngayon. Hindi mo rin expect na somebody like Duterte will just roll over and play dead. Kumaga, hindi. Lalaban yan. Kasi, alam mo, this guy loves life, ano? Masyadong, ano to, masyado siyang vain, masyado siyang materialistic, he loves power. Kumbaga, he's a narcissist. Kaya lalaban ito kasi ayun niya yung the thought that he would be dragged to prison ano to hindi kakayanin nung ego niya, no, na kaya nga nung nilalabas ko yung storya na pinagkakatago-tago niya na siya pala yung involved sa illegal drugs all along, tapos pinagpapatay niya yung mga lowly drug addicts tsaka yung mga inosente, 'di ba? Para lang dun sa rules niya. So ano to? Sociopath na and a psychopath for that matter. So yun, that's the height of hypocrisy. Kaya nakita niya, kaya ano siya, naggumagawa siya ng eksena nung towards the end kasi he wants me to stop Ini-interrupt niya yung
Halika
ano
na,
ko.
halika na, halika na. Did you think about doing that or is it's just you, a Sonny being Sonny macho? I mean, like I was surprised eh. Halika, kasi ako I just saw one angle na si Digoy nagwa. Gumagano sa ko, ano nangyari? And then may nag-send sa akin. Tingnan mo kasi yung sinabi ni Sonny. Halika na. What was going on there?
Well, kasi nga ano no, sabi ko nga pag na-decode mo si Duterte, matitrigger mo siya Alam mo which buttons to push
Yung algorithm niya na gets mo na.
Oo, maano mo 'yun. Kaya ano to, matotorta to sa akin pagka kasi 'yun na nga no. Alam niya kasi yung stage niya. Gusto niya yung full control. He can say whatever he wants. Pero pagka kaya nakikita niya yung he realizes that yung bang takot na takot sa kanya, nagde-defer sa kanya kung sino-sino. And ang baba ng tingin niya sa mga congressman. Tapos here's this guy na parang wala akong pakialam sa kanya, na-hurt yung ego niya parang gano'n.
Wala siyang fear factor, wala kang reverence or anything. He's not used to that. Just last point on this before quickly I talk about also Trump and US and your friend on the other side. ICC. I know again there's secrecy and all of that. Kasi ang worry namin, I and Justice Carpio were talking about this. As you know, Karim Khan is facing investigations now for alleged assault, blah blah blah, and we know that may mga malalaking bansa na hindi natutuwa sa kanya dun sa warrant of arrest request niya laban sa mga, alam mo naman, Israel leaders, etc. Some are saying baka magkakaroon ng delays also, that there's some drama going on in the ICC. What is your read? Again, none of us have insider information, but I think both of us know that there is conversation, like coordination, if I can put it that way.
Based sa aking mga informants who are privy to the investigation, hindi makaka-apekto yun sa timeline. So, yun na lang yun. Again, sabi ko nga, it's a waiting game. We were very excited a few months back, pero nagbago sila ng threshold. Wala tayong magagawa doon. But I think nalagpasan na yung threshold na yun. So, andun na tayo.
All right. So Duterte may have started the year with attacking BBM, and BBM may end the year on his own terms if things come together. Last part, hindi ko matapos ng conversation unless asking you, how do you feel about Marco Rubio likely becoming the most powerful diplomat on earth and a key partner? This is someone who last year wrote in the National Interest, and very important op-ed, saying the US cannot afford to lose a key ally like the Philippines to China. He was very clear why the US should care for the Philippines. So in many ways, marami na excite sa security circles, West Philippine Sea circles about Marco Rubio's appointment. Di na lang ako mag-comment dun sa mga ibang appointments sa RFK Jr., mga Tulsi Gabbard. But what is your read? Can you tell people to the degree that you can share? You and Marco Rubio, you go back quite some time, though, back in the Duterte days and all. He was quite helpful on a number of issues.
Yes, and nung time na we were looking for allies, no, sa international community, si Senator Marco Rubio was one of the senators who opened the doors for the Philippines. And ano yon, very substantial yung mga napag-usapan doon. And back then he was the chairman of the Appropriations Committee. And by the way, in-announce niya doon sa kanyang social
naman.
media,
I mean, of
doon
course,
sa mga
yeah.
pinag-usapan namin, so we talked about the human rights situation dito at inano niya na talagang hinold niya yung release ng grant sa PNP because it allowed itself to be instrumental dun sa extrajudicial killings. Ngayon, tinanong niya ako, he consulted me if the AFP should also be
Sanction.
kumbaga sanction. Doon ko sinabi na no, hindi pa, kasi in fact the AFP tried to steer clear of the EJ case at hindi sila involved. So sinabi niya, so it's just okay to release the grant sa AFP. So sinabi ko, yes, kasi ganun yon. Pero kasi siya dun sa PNP, it's all over the place. Convinced na sila na it has to be cut. So pero at least na-save natin yung sa AFP. So nakita niya more clearly na hindi ito parang the whole government, the whole the different agencies being used. Hindi, merong ganon. So, yan yon. Then, ang basa ko naman sa kanya kasi is a traditional conservative, no? Yung traditional Republican. Kaya palagay ko, doon niya ang magiging niya, ideological moorings niya as he navigates itong kanyang new role as
Secretary of State.
So
in terms of
yeah.
helping the Philippines, how do you see? I mean, what is your sense of him? Bakit parang ang concerned niya sa Pilipinas? Is it because I've talked to a lot of Republicans, their sense as pinabayaan ng Pilipinas, medyo nagigilty daw sila at sa tingin nila Pilipinas ay frontline state, dapat tulungan pa. I'm not saying Democrats are not saying that, pero sa aking palagay or sa aking experience, I saw Republicans recognizing that more. What is your read of Senator Rubio?
Actually, merong strong Philippine lobby dyan sa
right.
US Senate and the US Congress. So, yan? Bipartisan yan. Pero si Senator Marco Rubio, talagang nagkano siya ng interest.
I'm trying to figure out where's this personal sense of investment coming from.
Well, I'll tell you of the record.
Okay, sige. Sorry.
So meron yan. So ngayon, pero ilang beses siyang kumbaga sinuportahan yung kausa ng Pilipinas, yung human rights situation, 'di ba? So very active siya diyan.
This is on the record naman. I mean,
Yes.
We're not saying anything that Senator Rubio is not comfortable with, just to be clear. Yeah.
So West Philippine Sea. So kumbaga kaya doon yung sa aspeto na yon, at least you don't have a pro-China Secretary of State. So with that, kahit papaano makikita natin may continuity ng foreign policy dito sa Southeast Asia and particularly sa West Philippine Sea.
Hindi lang hindi hindi lang hindi pro-China, also hindi rin amateur hour. Because some would say some of the other appointments but he's definitely not an amateur. That's what I also wanted to emphasize. Tiny point, because people are also asking me a lot. Kanina lang kausap ko some people from Stanford this morning discussing this issue. Like, kung ikaw si BBM ngayon, how should you deal with the incoming Trump administration to make sure na we can get the most out of that relationship for our national interest sa West Philippine Sea at sa China? From what you understand of what Marco Rubio could bring to the table and what the Republicans could bring to the table in the next 4 years?
So doon sa aspeto na yon, talagang person to person ano ito. Kasi the Philippine ambassador will try to find out sino ba yung mga influential people around the president. So kailangan niya ng
Insider.
mag-touch base doon para lang kumbaga hindi ma-ignore yung Pilipinas altogether. Then sa State Department. Sa State Department kasi meron silang institutional memory eh. So regardless of who the Secretary of State is, meron at meron silang mga policy advisors na nandoon. Pero syempre, yung may mga deep state conspiracy dyan, they can, but I
Get
don't
rid
think,
of some of them.
but by and large, maiiwan yung blueprint ng foreign policy ng US for the next few decades kasi you cannot just flip it eh. Yun ang ano doon. And nakita naman natin itong the Trump 2.0 is more differential. Palagay ko he will just be more hands-on dun sa domestic promises niya like
Migration,
border, then the inflation. But other than that, ano na yon? He would defend.
Autopilot.
Yeah, oo.
Gangster, you know, we do that better than anybody.
I bet you got it twisted, you don't know who to trust. So many player hating niggas trying to sound like us. Say they ready for the front, but I don't think they know it. Straight to the depths of hell is where them cowards going. Well, all you still down, nigga, holler when you see me. And let these devils be sorry for the day they finally free me. I got a caravan of niggas every time we ride. Hitting motherfuckers up when we pass by. Until I die, live the life of a boss player. Cause even when I'm high,